Well, what is old is new again. What is new is old again. Not that last part, but honestly, wrestling took a bat this week and hit a home run because Raw was good, Dynamite was good, SmackDown was good. So listen, if you're not into the modern wrestling world, that's totally cool. But if you are, I just want to say it, we are eating good. Also, hello, my friends, and welcome to Ups and Downs, the only wrestling review show you need. Somebody told me this yesterday, and I do believe they are right. We have recently passed our 9-year anniversary, and I think in that time, I have missed 15 episodes max. That's not a good idea, that is not healthy, and it is stupid. But what a great time for me to be able to say thank you very much. I appreciate you sticking with me. I have never taken this for granted, and just wiggling my finger around has afforded me some crazy opportunities. So again, thanks emoji, thank you from me, and you're gonna have a good one today. There's a heat wave in the UK, and I'm so hot I'm already sweating, which means we can get down nice, deep, and sexy. Shouldn't have said that. Let's up those down. We then saw Alexa Bliss in the back and she was trying to feed Lily, so somebody needs to have a chat with her, when out came LA Knight, because he's really mad at Seth Rollins and his goobers. Yeah. That was essentially what he talked about as well, because he was like, Seth Rollins and your pile of morons, you screwed me, so I screwed you, so you then screwed me, so I screwed you. I've now sat down and done some maths and figured out the equation, and it just means you and me, Seth Rollins, we need to fight. Who also wanted this to happen right here, right now? So wrestlers don't ever learn, because that has never actually happened. When Paul Heyman came out, and he got annoyed at the audience because they screwed up his speech when he was like, listen, LA Knight, can I call you La? I think you're wonderful. I think you're so lovely, which is why my grand leader Seth Rollins has allowed me to tell you, get out of Dodge, because if you don't, you're gonna die. Now, LA Knight's heard this all before, and he said, listen to me, Paul Heyman, you are nothing but a leech, and you just go from one person to the next, to the next, to the next, always trying to suck power away from them. I really regret doing that. But hey, if Sethos isn't going to be here, I've got a much better idea. Let's do LA Knight versus Paul Heyman, and he even turned his back like, you can take the first shot. That's why I love Heyman, man. He basically freaked out and fell down. He even told him that his fate was sealed, and that's not a prediction, it is a spoiler. Is that the right way round? I think that's the right way round. When, of course, out came Bron Breakker and Bronson Reeves, and they chose to do the slow motion plan. They weren't going to jump him. And look, they did beat up LA Knight for a while because the numbers game, it was 2-on-1. When LA Knight remembered his Star Trek powers, and he got himself a steel chair, and he chased everybody away. We then also learned that later on it is going to be Bronson Reed versus LA Knight, and Nick Aldis had made that match. I was like, phew, thank goodness for that, because otherwise, as we learn every single week, Nicky wouldn't have had an entire show. He's lucky that SmackDown is going back to 3 hours, because apparently he turns up to work and goes, well, I've only got a card for 1 hour 40. Let's hope somebody falls out. We also saw Bron Breakker, Bronson Reed, and Paul Heyman in the back. They were talking to Byron Saxton when Bron literally went ruff, ruff, ruff to chase him away. So that dude's got problems, as Paul Heyman essentially told Bronson Reed, listen, patience isn't a virtue, it's a plan. And later on, you're going to find LA Knight and you're going to stab him in the heart. He didn't say that. That would have been way too much. It's just going to beat him in a match. I really like this feud though, because in no world did I ever think it was going to be Seth Rollins versus LA Knight coming out of Money in the Bank. But it keeps LA Knight relevant, and I presume we will do this at Night of Champions, or maybe we'll hold it off to SummerSlam. I'm good with either of them. LA Knight is so over too, it just makes it work up. It was in the Queen of the Ring semi-finals after this. I was doing the dance of joy, because so far I have predicted this perfectly. And do you know how stupid I am? Very stupid, so I need to take what I can get. It was also Alexa Bliss versus Asuka, which made it even better. Because, like, well, you could win, and you can win. And even though Asuka only came back on Monday, it's not like Alexa Bliss has been back for 100 years. I was super intrigued. Asuka made sure to knock Alexa out the ring with the hip attack to start, which I think has to be the most popular new move in 2025, because everybody's doing it. And Alexa's like, all right, well, I'm just going to boot you in the face. And honestly, there was some great creative decisions in this, which goes back to my biggest bugbear, which I actually think WWE is addressing. Not every single match needs to end with distraction, interference, and confusion. You can come up with things like this, because Alexa went for the Twisted Bliss. When she looked at Asuka and was like, I play WWE 2K, you are playing possum, I'm not going to jump into your knees. Now, she was right, so she gave up on the move, but Asuka literally was playing possum, not literally, that would make any sense. She was an animal, and she basically applied an arm bar, and Alexa Bliss freaked out and got to the ropes. She then kicked Asuka right in the face when she had a little bit of a panic, I think. She's like, well, I'm going to have to hit my move eventually. When she went for it, Asuka did get the knees up, so haha, I basically double reverse tricked you 9,000 or something like that. When she hit her brand new running knee, she got the 1, 2, 3. That rhymes, so it must be true. Asuka Yes, is going to the finals. It also just adds to Alexa Bliss's storyline, because now she can be like, man, one blip, I made one mistake, even though I was trying to be a smart tamale. And don't worry, because she does have an extra narrative thread later. How many times have we talked about that? That's all you need. Oh, you lost the match, but here's round 2. I'm giving it an up. I thought it rocked. Jay Cargill, B-Fab, and Meacham were also watching this. When B-Fab and Meacham went, wait a minute, nobody is challenging for those women's tag team titles. We're going to go sort that out right now. That's like you've had since WrestleMania, and it took you a Queen of the Ring match to figure it out. You are some weird people. Jay Cargill also cut a promo. This cracked me up, because she was talking about taking on Roxanne Perez, and essentially went, listen, she's not the Storm, I'm the Storm. If she thinks she's the Storm, she understands the Storm is coming her way. I am Storm, where's the Storm? Rainy, rainy, Storm, Storm, I'm the Storm. All right. Alexa Bliss was also shown getting grief from Chelsea Green and her secret Hervis when Charlotte Flair also walked in. When we learned that it's Chelsea versus Charlotte later, and Alexa wanted to help Flair, but Flair was like, well, I don't want you to help me. So Alexa's like, well, screw you too. This is where that seed is, man. We need to see where it's going to go. When we got to a really super odd angle, or at least one that I never saw coming, because it was meant to be Aleister Black versus Kit Wilson of Pretty Deadly. So we introduced the randomizer to WWE ups and downs. It's featured on AEW ups and downs a lot, but this one really did come out of nowhere. And I don't mind it, but if you got a gun to somebody's head and went justify it, they would die. It didn't go anywhere either, because R-Truth decided, man, I want John Cena right now, even though it's meant to be the main event. He just beat the absolute shit out of this guy, as Aleister Black looked on like somebody waiting for a bus, totally confused, and there was no bus. What? It took all the useless wrestling security guards and essentially Jamie Noble to calm him down. They're like, listen, R-Truth, you are going to get John Cena later. I know you want to fight now, but this isn't going to get you anywhere. And good grief, it led to the best backstage segment, because quite rightfully, Alice was like, what'd you do that for? When Damian Priest calmed them down, and of course him and Ron Killings have a past, and he said this to them. Do you remember what happened a couple of years ago? I was like you, I was unhinged, but it was your personality that always made me feel better. So beat John Cena later. I know you can do it, and then we can go out for a drink. And honestly, it was just the smiles and the warm and fuzzy tum-tum feelings they put out here. They must have a real life chemistry, and it came through the screen and smacked me right in the face. Then I got a bit worried, because you could do something crazy here and have one of these guys betray the other, but I'm giving it an up. That to me is a good callback. I thought it was wonderful. I also want to shout out Ellen Prince as well, because they said on commentary he is out with an injury, and we haven't seen him for a while. And let's throw some love to Kevin Owens too. Really hope they are doing okay. Wrestling can be super dangerous. All of this good stuff carried on as well, because Cody Rhodes came out to a massive reception, but he wasn't able to get one word out because Jey Uso interrupted. And you want to talk about pops, it doesn't matter if he's world champion or not world champion. This place came unglued, and he did his entrance thing twice, but I tell you, I think Wade Barrett said this as well, you could have probably done this 62,942 times, and they would have been pumped every single one. He even told Cody as well, you don't need to say anything, because I understand what's going down here. We were enemies in the bloodline, then we were friends as the tag team champions, then you finish your story and I finish my story. But man, the King of the Ring isn't personal, bro. It's business. You know the deal. 4 letters, 1 word, ye. As that ending was cool and all, but actually if we're looking at it from a structural narrative point of view, doesn't make any sense. They smiled at each other like they were in love, although once again Rhodes wasn't able to say anything because Sami Zayn then interrupted, and this is why it's awesome that all the semi-finals on the men's side are baby faces, because it was just one big laughing. He was like, oh my God, Jey Uso, I was so proud of you at WrestleMania. And Cody, oh my God, my lovely boy Cody, when you finish your story at WrestleMania 40, who was the first guy to give you a big old hand slap? But listen to what I just said. Jey, you've done it. Cody, you've done it. I need to finish my story. I need to become the world champion. That's why I'm going to win King of the Ring. So it is just good babyface connection promos. And then Randy Orton felt left out. But this is when I did a backflip because it's so good. Of course, he's mega over, but he said, can I remind you what I talked about last week, Cody? I am going to do whatever it takes to beat you and become the world champion and win number 15. And you just know that's not going to happen. Cody's going to win the King of the Ring. And after SummerSlam, when Cody Rhodes gets his WWE title back, I tell you, my friends, this Randall Keith Orton, he's going to go heel and turn on the American Nightmare. I don't know what I'm doing. He also kind of mugged off Jey here, because he's like, man, you've got your English wrong, because it's actually going to be 3 words and 1 move, hat. He didn't say hat, Didn't say that he was going to beat Jey Uso with a hat. He was talking about the RKO. He also put over Sami Zayn massively and said, listen, you are right, Sam. You are going to be the world champion one day, but it's not going to be tonight because I am going to beat you in the KOTR. And do you know how that's going to happen? With the RKO. That's not meant, right? You were really obsessed with that move. Cody better go yell at the production staff too, because they then played Randy Orton's theme music, so he didn't get to say a word. But it kind of worked, man. Sometimes there's power in silence. It was just the way he was looking at everybody else. He was kind of conflicted, but also these are my friends, but I have to win. I thought WWE treated this wonderfully, so I am going to give it an up. But my gosh, did I laugh out loud. Because when Randy Orton did come to the ring, Wade Barrett, who by the way could be the best commentator WWE has at the moment, said, you know what? Talking about stories, Randy Orton has finished a lot of them. Straight away, I imagine Randy Orton closing like Little Red Riding Hood. Be like, there you go, that's number 42. Nobody finishes more stories than me. I know, you shouldn't watch this show. We went right into the semi-finals as well, because of course Randy Orton and Sami Zayn were there. And I thought this was flubbing excellent, because once again, there was no dick. Excuse me, I shouldn't have said it. We saved the dick for elsewhere in the show. It was just two guys battling for ultimate supremacy, and the match itself was fantastic. If you're one of these guys that says, oh man, there's only good wrestling in one specific company, that's not true. There's great wrestling all over the place, and you could ignore it, of course, but my word, let's go back to the intro. We have got it super duper whooper good. Orton at one point poked Sami in the eye as well, so there you go, he's teasing it, and he continually threw him into the announce table with his signature back suplex. Sami Zayn must have been so damn sad, because this crowd were like, yeah, do it again, Randy, do it again. So he did. I mean, why wouldn't he? They also made sure to smash their faces into Alan, but once again, it was Randy that did that first, and Sami just retaliated. And at one point, Sami Zayn went for the Blue Thunder Bomb. Randy was like, no, we are not wasting our time with that, you idiot. It led to the most wonderful Randy Orton snap slammer. What a 1-2 off that. When he went for the RKO, and Sami did hit the least devastating move in all of sports entertainment, the Blue Thunder Bomb. And did it work? Of course it didn't. It never does. Sami's next plan was to go for a flying nothing, which was really dumb because he almost got hit with the RKO. But he was going for the haluva kick and all of his moves, and essentially, once again, it was just two warriors trying to get one up on the other guy. When Randy remembered, what's the bit after the move? Out of nowhere, he got the RKO, 1, 2, 3. He is going to the finals. Sami Zayn, just like he'd been told, you're never allowed to eat pizza again. And he can now come out on Raw, and this can be his story. Man, I just can't figure out, I don't know what to do when Karrion Kross is like, I told you, you should have cheated, but you're too much of a goody-goody two-shoes. If you had done the dick here and the shenanigans, that wouldn't have worked. Because Sam can just goes, what are you talking about? I got screwed over. So bravo once again, WWE, for keeping this like a tournament, a winner and a loser. You just know it's going to tie into the Randy Orton stuff. It's one of the best things in ages. Giving it up. When I just got confused, because we are actually going back to Nia Jax versus Tiffany Stratton. Now, if you follow Tiffany's journey post-WrestleMania, well, she hasn't really had a proper feud, and she has kind of just been hanging out and playing Nintendo. And listen, I love Nia Jax. I don't think she gets the credit she deserves, and Tiffany Stratton is mega over. But it's the law of diminishing returns. My instant reaction was, I don't need to see this again. So I do have to give it a down. Anyway, Jax is basically mad because she was the person that Tiffany Stratton asked for advice for, and man, did she take advantage of that. When Tiffany walked out and said, you were like my stupid toxic ex, you need to leave me alone. When they set up a last woman standing match, because back in like 1912, Tiffany drop kicked that chair into Nia's face. I guess it took a few weeks before Nia's brain went, oh yeah, that wasn't very nice. I want one more shot. They then started to brawl, and of course Nia Jax whooped her ass, which is when Naomi came out to cash in. But Nia wouldn't let her do that. I was like, man, why don't you just let her cash in? I'm sure you can still have this last woman standing match against Naomi instead. But that is what is keeping this entire thing alive. Naomi flying around like a bee. Because if it does end with her successfully cashing in, then all of this will work. They just want Naomi to be the world champion. So I am going to give that part an up. But yes, when we do get through Night of Champions or through SummerSlam, we need more contenders for this championship, or at least for Tiffany Stratton. I do not understand why we keep going back to Nia Jax and continue to use Nia. Once again, she's great, but there's so many other people she could be feuding with. We then got this really great video for CM Punk versus John Cena, which was going to level up later, when it was Chelsea Green versus Charlotte Flair, mostly because they fell out earlier, and Chelsea is still wearing the protective mask because she had broken her nose. I mean, what a flipping trooper. Of course, Flair had to fight off Piper Niven and Alba Fire, so we do put one on the dick counter. But once again, WWE made sure that didn't really tie into the finish, because Charlotte was able to survive it. And she got the spear at one point after Chelsea had gone from the Unprettier, but Chelsea did kick out. When Flair was like, all right, well, I'll just use my other move. My meter is full. Figure 8, 1, 2, 3. Nope, that's not right. Tap out victory. Then Piper Niven went, I'm going to kill Charlotte Flair. She did this senton on her when Flair was still in the crab position. I don't know how she didn't break her back. Alpha Fire jumped in too, because once again, distraction, interference, and confusion when Alexa Bliss came out to make the save. She wanted to shake Charlotte's hand, and Charlotte was like, no, I am not touching your skin. I'm really fascinated by this, because those two could go for the women's tag team titles, and that is the star power we do need. So I am giving it an up. Just a shout out to Chelsea Green, who even manages to be entertaining when she doesn't have a nose bone. That's not what a broken nose is. But I've said it now, let's move on. And then remember that last week Zelina Vega had told Nick Aldis that she was going to call out Julia, when we were told, nope, that's actually going down next week instead. It's also the US title match, so we've had no build. It's almost like this championship doesn't exist. I don't get it, it has to get it down. Just copy what we've done with the IC title on Raw. JC Mateo was then wrapping his fist because he was going to punch Jacob Fatu right in the face, and Solo was like, no. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to talk to him and I'm going to welcome him back to the family. And he did. He walked the square circle and said, Jacob, I love you. Nobody wanted you apart from me in WWE. So why don't you come out here? We can have a kiss. We can have a hug. We can go for dinner at McDonald's. He also tied this into everything with Roman Reigns, so he's definitely learned emotional manipulation from him, because he was like, the tribal chief always taught us the family does come first, so just tell me you love me, because I love you. I'll say it right now, I love you, Jacob. But Fatu was like, nah, bruh. I ain't saying nothing. The only reason you brought me in is because you wanted more power and you wanted to win championships. So when I won one before you, you got mad. And you called me an idiot behind my back. And that hurt, man. Insane people have feelings too. Jacob Fatu is just the coolest guy on the planet too. Because he said, oh, it is about this gold, is it? And he laid it down in the ring. So let's fight. And Solo Sikoa went through about 60,000 million emotions here when he remembered he had a thumb and he went to spike Jacob, and of course he got his ass kicked when JC Mateo teleported in from the Starship Enterprise, and these two guys totally whooped his ass. Because of course they did. It was Jimmy Uso who made the save, and once again this place went crazy. And you know what Jimbo and Jacob did. They looked at each other because it is super serious, and I presume we are going to do this tag match. I originally thought that would be a Night of Champions with Solo versus Jacob at SummerSlam instead, but apparently it's the US title match at Night of Champions, so we'll have to wait and see. But this family affair is actually getting quite good. At least Jimmy Uso is being used more. I'm giving it an up. I mean, it's not anything that you go, it's so incredibly imaginative, but it just works. It's solid stuff. I am invested, and I hate the heels. It's not true, I love Solo Sikoa, but I like the baby faces. Just works, man. Like a bunt. Get to phase 1. Bronson Reed versus LA Knight next, and yes, we put a 1 on the dick counter, but we kind of saved it for here, and as I keep saying, that's totally fine. Seth Rollins' group should have this as their special move, so when they keep doing it, you're like, man, I'm just so mad at them. We need Superman to fly in and get some help. Because Bron Breakker just speared LA Knight after about 10 minutes for the disqualification, and these two killed this guy. I mean, honestly, there was spears, there was tsunamis, there was more spears, there was more tsunamis when they stood there with Paul Heyman. And I would have been a bit like, Paul, where is Seth? Why hasn't he come here? Paul would be like, don't worry about that. Just continue to pose. But it really works, of course, because now Bron and Bronson feel like monsters. And moving into 2026, it should just feel like they're untouchable. They could even win the tag team titles, and I'd be totally fine with that. And of course, it builds to LA Knight versus Seth Rollins. And we protected La here. We did the job up. When it was time for our main event of R-Truth versus John Cena, and I thought this was fantastic. Remember what we did at Satellite's main event? It was the complete 180. Ron Killings was so damn mad. He was so aggressive. He essentially whooped John Cena's butt. But he basically powerbombed him at one point. Of course, John Cena came back with his 5-knuckle. He likes to shuffle. But even when he went for the AA, R-Truth was like, no, that was the old R-Truth. I'm Ron Killings. It's not happening. And it totally freaked out Jonathan because he left the ring when he got the championship and he smashed R-Truth right in the head. Now listen, this did mean it was the second disqualification on one show. I don't know how I feel about that, even more so because it was back-to-back. But given what Cena did afterwards, well, I think we can let it go. Now, CM Punk ran out instantly because he couldn't handle it, as R-Truth literally vanished into the abyss and we never saw him again. But Cena had a plan. He's like, well, CM Punk's got a dick. I'll kick him right there. When he just smashed him in the head over and over again with the championship. When, yes, he got the Slim Jim table and threw him through it. Now, listen, I was worried that we were going to start shoehorning in table spots so we could go, snap into a Slim Jim, and this was the most gratuitous one yet. I don't mind sponsorship, I understand we live in a capitalist world, but if we keep doing this, we may have to address it down the line. Because here you could totally understand it, because John Cena wanted to create the scene from 2011, because that's right, my friends. What did Johnny Boy do? He cut his own CM Punk bomb promo. That was Jimmy's CM Punk pipe bomb. What is going on with my brain? It's too damn hot. He cut a pipe bomb, I'm telling you. The best thing about it is, he didn't do it in a way like, oh, no one knows what I'm talking about. He was winking, and he was nudging, he was smiling. He looked like the cat that had got the cream. Of course, do not forget as well that when CM Punk did do this, R-Truth was also involved, so what a 180 that is. When Cena actually said, you do know in 6 months' time, CM Punk, I am leaving with this world championship, and you know what annoys me? That everybody thinks you're the best in the world. Or at least you think you're the best in the world, but actually, you're the biggest bullshitter. And I was like, that's it. Aliens are going to attack. John Cena just swore live on television, there ain't no going back. Punk has the world con though, and Cena doesn't actually believe that deep down in their Tootsie Toes people believe in Punk, because he changes his values more than Cena changes his t-shirts. Like, damn it, that's a good line. John then looked right in the camera, as I'm doing now too, and he said, hello, Claudio Castagnoli. Hello, Nick Nemeth. Hello, Matt Cardona. And he did the wave as well. You can imagine what the internet did here. They did melt down. I was like, man, give me more of this. Break that fourth wall. I'm a nerd. He then said that Punk was nothing more than a 5 microphone moves of doom guy, because he ain't no voice of the voiceless. And if anything, he's a capitalist. He's Mr. TKO. He's Mr. Company Dude. And look, yes, as we said last week, or even on Raw, I can't remember, there is a lot we're not saying here, because we can't say everything, because you need to know the feelings of one Phil Brooks. So it does get a little bit muddy, a little bit 2 + 2 = potato. But if you give John Cena a microphone and he delivers a promo this good, it goes back to what I just said. I'll let it slide. Sometimes people do hit home runs, and all right, go nuts. Punk is also going to learn that in Saudi Arabia, John Cena has been the best for the last 25 years. And sure, maybe CM Punk was the best once, but it lasted for all of 7 minutes. Even if Punk does win the World Championship and walks around saying, man, I am the best in the world, well, it just means what a small world we will live in. Seriously, I'm not doing this justice. You have to watch it. It was so well executed. It's still going to be the best in the world versus the greatest of all time. And that's right, kid. I just ripped your promo. And honestly, if John Cena had put on tap dancing shoes and started doing tap dance, I'd have been like, yeah. He became mega troll here, and it just goes to show he is one of the GOATs. It's not like nobody saw this coming. We were always going to do something like it, but it's just the way he delivered this. There are only a few people on this earth that could have done as good a job of this. I am giving it an up, and I'm going to remind you, you have to go and watch it. And even with all the other madness that is going on, it has got me so hyped for CM Punk versus John Cena. They're going to figure it out, man. I think it's going to be a treat. But of course, brought us the end of SmackDown, and it was a great show that I am going to give it up. Just to remind you, don't count the counters. People have started counting them again and saying, Simon, you gave one show 7 ups and one show 4 downs, and then you said you liked it at the end. Yeah, man, it's just random things. I go with my gut and how I'm feeling. If you want a big headline, you wait until the end and the big up and a down. Go and watch this week's SmackDown. Also, please do like the video, share the video, and subscribe. Leave a comment below and let me know what you thought about it. Some people didn't like the John Cena thing. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Click the video for ups and downs for Monday Night Raw, but otherwise, if you are in the UK, drink lots of water and hydrate today. I am going to be your dad, and I'll see you next week.